Good morning. Hello. Can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Hey, you were listening. That's awesome. Good job, team. Good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Martins, and I will be the MC for today, bossing you around a little bit. Hopefully, you can all handle that. Welcome to MCC's 4th Annual Peace Conference. First one was in person. The last two have been virtual, and we are able to gather together in person again this year. So really looking forward to being here with all of you. This space is lovely. We can see each other's faces and really be with one another. So excited for that. And the sun is shining too, which is also quite a gift for us today. Emergency procedures before we get into what's happening today. Outside, right? If something happens, if there's a fire, if something, there's doors right there. Please, let's gather out there. Make sense? I think we're good? Okay, awesome. So the theme for today is really about land and reconciliation. We'll be exploring the land as life-giving watershed, the colonial history of carving up the land, and the healing of land as medicine. The roadmap for today, you should all have your schedules here. There's no times on here, so really you'll be looking to me for what happens when. Okay, so if things need to speed up, that might be happening. So pay attention more to me than to this, but this for general information. And if you're wanting to know a little bit more about speakers and that kind of thing, on the back, there's a Scan Me QR code. So you can find out a little bit more about speakers. If you're not sure what a QR code is or how to use that, don't ask me, because I'll be looking to somebody else for some help too, but ask somebody in the room, like Jesse here, I'm sure he knows how. Jesse, raise your hand if you need some help. Ask Jesse, or somebody at the registration desk there too. I think they'd be able to help us out. So we'll be doing some welcoming this morning, theological grounding, again, sessions, 3 sessions today, land as watershed, land as grid, and land as medicine. A wonderful lunch today by Chef Jenny, and of course, a closing. There are question boards around the room, so we'll point them out as we go. Oh, right here? Oh, right here. Okay. So question boards here, really to prompt our thinking. So we're going to be listening to some really brilliant people today, and there's brilliant people around the room here, so those question boards are really to spark your thinking and spark some conversation. So we'll ask you to read those and start having some conversations around some of those questions there. All of the conference speakers will be recorded, and in about 2 weeks' time-ish, they'll be posted on MCC Saskatchewan's YouTube channel. And if you are on their social media, you'll know firsthand when that stuff is posted. So keep an eye for that. Also, it is being recorded, I think, at the back here. So if you're not keen on being part of the recording, then choose a seat towards the side. Typically, it's going to be the back of your head, so maybe that's okay too, but if you don't want the back of your head shown, then for sure move to the side. We do have 2 sponsors, City of Saskatoon Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Advisory Committee and Reconciliation Saskatoon. So a big thank you to both of those sponsors for helping us make this happen yesterday and today. And like I mentioned, this church is a beautiful space to really gather, and so thank you big time to the Lakeview Church as well for hosting us here today. Thank you to them. There's coffee, tea, and refreshments over here, so help yourself. Washrooms, gender-neutral washroom over this way, men's and women's this way here. Again, we're not going to have a ton of breaks, so you'll have to break for yourself when is necessary. Okay, logistics. I did good with logistics. Okay, great. Everybody understands how we're going to go with the day today. Awesome, got a couple thumbs up. This is great. I'm going to introduce Eileen Clausen-Ham. I'm sure many of us know who she is, but in case we don't or don't remember, she is the Executive Director for MCC Saskatchewan, and we dressed very similarly today. I was trying to channel Eileen. She's a very wise woman, so I was like, how would Eileen represent herself? I'm going to channel her. She has served with MCC since 1992 in a variety of program roles and in her current role since April of 2016. She holds a Master of Divinity from Anabaptist Mennonite Biblical Seminary and a BA in Anthropology from the University of Waterloo. Eileen is married to Les. They have 2 adult children, 1 daughter-in-law, and a granddaughter who is almost 2 years old. She participates in the Wildwood Mennonite Church community. Eileen.
Good morning. It's so good to see your faces. It's so good to see the sun shining. And thank you, Denise. Let me add my welcome to this day of learning and of conversation, of eating together, of listening and speaking together. And I offer my deep gratitude to our program team, led by Amanda Dodge, for their good work which has brought us to this day of rich offerings. We are grateful and joyful today to gather on Treaty 6 territory. Our colleague Erica Littlewolf encouraged us earlier this year to be more joyful in our land acknowledgements. Why do they need to be so somber? Let's be joyful to gather here on Treaty 6 territory, traditional land of Indigenous peoples including Nehiyawak, Anishinaabe, Lakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We are grateful for your stewardship of this land, for your hospitality which allows us to live and work and serve God the Creator here. As a Christian organization called and committed to the ministry of reconciliation, we acknowledge the harms committed to Indigenous peoples of this land by those who've settled here. We wish for ourselves, for Indigenous peoples and all our future generations to live in peace and justice and sufficiency. And we express our resolve, our joyful resolve, people, to work together to help bring about these conditions by addressing the issues that history and present policy have left to us. We dedicate ourselves to ensuring that the spirit of reconciliation and the intentions of Treaty 6 are honored and respected. I trust today that we'll be spurred on by these commitments. Land as watershed, land as grid, land as medicine. As I've been looking forward to this day, I've been reflecting on these 3 images. I was born into a farming family which had made their way to Treaty 6 territory in the late 1890s via Treaty 1 territory and southern Russia. My childhood address was SE 28T39R3W3, the southeast quarter of Section 28 in Township 39, Range 3, west of the 3rd Meridian. Providentially, the northwest corner of Section 28 was sheared off by the beautiful and powerful Kissikachawani Sipi, the swift-flowing South Saskatchewan River, which, thanks to the Creator, is no respecter of colonial grid measurements. My 3 brothers and I played and fished and fought and daydreamed along her banks. The ravines that drained the spring runoff waters into the river also cut through our farm, and in those coulees we picked Saskatoon berries and chokecherries, returning to the house not only with visions of pie and pancake syrup, but also with the fragrance of sage and juniper on our clothes. I will need more than a lifetime to learn all of the lessons of this land. I have spent most of my working life with MCC, this relief, development, and peace-building organization rooted in the Anabaptist community. Over many decades and in many places around the world, MCC has been witness to both the abundant gifts of the land and also the many ways humans devastate her watersheds and misuse her resources and each other. Land and reconciliation are intricately tied. Today, we will humbly explore this web right here. It is our hope, our vision, and our work to be in right relationship with our Creator God, one another, and creation.